Shine bright up all night, we're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes, we're bound to hit the ground. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. Young blood made of gold, a mind you can't control. Running wild, can't come down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. Shine bright up all night, we're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes, we're bound to hit the ground. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. On the day we are together again. On the day we are together again. I will pull you in close like a hoop with no end. On the day we are together again. We will share the same table again. We will share the same table again. I will pass you the salt, the candlelight will bend when we share the same table again. We will walk around the block hand in hand. We will walk around the block hand in hand. We will stop for a snack at the taco truck stand when we walk around the block hand in hand. Someday we will go back to work. Someday we will go back to work. May we be among people who respect our work. Someday we will go to the healers who keep us alive. A toast to your courage, knowledge and light, to the healers who keep us alive, and the ones we love who are gone, and the ones we love who are gone. We remember the stories, and we sing the songs for the ones we love who are gone. And on the day we are together.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. Could have chosen to be anywhere, but you chose to be right here, and I'm thankful. Today is December 15th, 2023, 6:37 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States, and it is 2.5 years since Summer Moon Utah Wells has went missing. Today is the anniversary of Summer Moon Utah Wells. So keep the faith. Keep the faith is all we can do. It's great to see you all in chat. Chloe, Mississippi Girl, Jack J, Lady May, SL, Hey Jude, Chloe, Spirit, Hunter, Sherry, Millie, Poppy, Lady May, Sonia, Hey Jude, Jack J, Hindsight, Joan, Poppy again, Michelle, Rach, just Rach. Hello, Spirit Hunter, Tracy. Who else we got here? Okay, Vicky, Mississippi Girl, Kathleen, Spirit Virgo, Sherry, Nana's Dragonfly, um, Pickle Toe Grandmas, Joan Slay. Hello, hello, Vicky. Jack J, hello, Rap Track, Susan, Michelle, Joan, Love One Another, Robin N, Laura, Tracy Ludwig, Susan, member for 1 month. Thank you so much, my love. I appreciate it. Vampy, welcome to the family. Appreciate your support. Really do. Thank you. Means a lot. Joy, hello. Michelle Reed. Uh, let's see here. Hey, Brandy, good to see you. Good to see you all. I'm way behind in chat here. September Virgo member for 2 months. Justice for summer, whatever it takes. Amen. 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 It's 2.5 years. Where has it gone? Oh, we need to go ahead and take care of Rapper here. There we go, Rapper. Sky Maiden, welcome for 3 months, my dear. I appreciate your support. It truly means a lot. September Virgo, new member, welcome to the family. Susan, member for 1 month. Vampy, welcome. 2 months, and Sky Maiden, 3 months. Thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. So, I know PG was live. She's getting ready to end her live. So I'm sure more will be coming over shortly. However, today we are going to be talking about Summer Wells, and we're also going to be talking about a case is probably the closest case that I can find that has similarities in excuse me, in the Summer Wells case. And this was a big story back then. And it was a little girl. Her name was Haeligh Cummings. And there is a lot of similarities when it comes to how Haeligh vanished compared to Summer Wells, um, kind of the parents' background, just a lot. Definitely a lot. Haeligh going missing is within 100 miles from me. Oh, really, Dot? Anne Marie, good to see you. Lily, good to see you. Tracy with an eye. Debbie C, hello. Debbie Jean. Jen R. Marlena. Tanks, hello. Cherished. I followed Haeligh's case with Nancy Grace. Yeah, Nancy Grace was on HLN then. I always wondered why she was forgotten. Well, she's not. I mean, I don't think she's forgotten. Um, the the father has faced a lot of jail time, and the babysitter, she had a babysitter. She was 17 years old, but the father was dating the babysitter. And he eventually married her. The marriage didn't last very long, and we're going to go through all of it. We're going to go through a lot of it. Hey, Mary and Stephanie, good to see you. English Rose. Not a drama, Nana. I have my purple candle for lit for summer. Oh, member formats. Thank you, Nada. God bless you. Purple candle. I know. I know. It's a lot. It is a lot. So, um, we're going to go over this documentary, and we're going to pause it and talk about it and all that. I do want to say the audio versus the lips moving is off. I have to do that intentionally. So uh so there is that. Let me turn my phone off. Haeligh went missing in February of 2009, and she had a condition. Here, I'll show you a picture of Haeligh. Here is a photo of Haeligh. If it'll work. There we go. This is a photo of Haeligh. You don't gotta be quiet. Why are you trying to be quiet for? Don't be quiet. That couple was like a young Don. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of similarities. She had a condition. I forget what it was called. Um, Let me see here. She had a condition called Turner syndrome. Those with Turner syndrome can exhibit numerous symptoms, including the restricted growth of long bones and ovaries, cardiac problems, vision problems, specific learning disabilities, multiple birthmarks, swollen fingers and toes, and hypothyroidism. As a result, Haeligh required hormone treatments and visits to the cardiologist regularly. She may be in medical attention needed. Now, Kaylee, this is unsolved to this very day. It's unsolved. Now, in my opinion, which the police have finally named the suspect, uh, the father was at work when this happened. Now, Dawn alleges he was at work. And that is exactly right, JD. She missed many appointments. She had to get hormone replacement therapy. Hey, Muscles, good to see you. She had to get hormone replacement therapy so she could grow correct and all of that. So I do want to tell you that the voice is off because I have to do it like that. So, all right. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up button, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Happy Friday to those off for the work week. It's Friday, right? Friday. All right, so credit goes to News4Jack. Link to the full unedited version is in the description for those who want to watch this. Go back and watch it and view it. There is a lot more to this.
She was just 5 years old when she disappeared into thin air. That little girl who lived in Satsuma in Putnam County has been missing for 10 years. For those of you who were here in 2009, you remember, like we do, the all-out search for Haeligh Cummings.
She went to bed the night of February 9th.
Okay, so it's been over 10 years. It was 10 years in 2019. Now, she went to bed that morning or that night, and they're going to explain it to you.
Was reported missing hours later by her father's girlfriend. Well, this evening, Jennifer Waugh begins a series of special reports focusing on this kindergartner, her family, and the theories about what happened to her.
I just woke up and our back door was open and we can't find our daughter. Can't find what? Our daughter.
I just got home from work. My 5-year-old daughter is gone. I need somebody to be here now. If I find whoever has my daughter before y'all do, I'm killing them.
An all-out search continues right now for this missing 5-year-old Putnam County girl. Investigators say Haeligh Cummings of Satsuma was last seen when her father's girlfriend put her to bed at about 10 o'clock last night.
February 10th, 2009, the little girl vanishes from her bed in a small rural county in northeast Florida. She was sleeping right next to her little brother. Hundreds searched for her.
All right, so father worked late nights. He worked late nights. He was at work. The 17-year-old girlfriend, dad is over. He is an adult. He's an adult. She's sleeping next to her little brother. Now, she slept in the same room as the 17-year-old and her father. They didn't have beds. They had mattresses on the floor. They were clean. So that takes the cake for Don and Candace, but regardless, there was just a mattress on the floor.
Our investigation revealed that this child was last seen last night at her residence at approximately 10 p.m. and the rear door of the residence was found to be open.
I just want my child back. All I want is my child.
Right now, our leads are very minimal. We're asking for the public's help. If you've seen anything, you've heard anything, you've seen this little girl somewhere, please give us a call.
Did Haeligh wander off? Was she taken?
We're offering polygraphs to everybody to give them the opportunity to eliminate themselves as suspects.
Detectives say they have found several good leads, but couldn't share specifically any of that information.
All right, so Haeligh, did she go out the back door? The back door was locked with a deadbolt. There was no sign of forced entry at all. Sound familiar? It does sound familiar related to the Summer Wells case. This is the closest case that I can find to Summer Wells.
Somebody knows. I mean, somebody knows. She didn't disappear into thin air. Somebody knows something. And how do you get somebody to be so evil as to not tell you where a child is?
Ten years later, 5-year-old Haeligh Cummings is still missing. I'm Jennifer Waugh. Starting Monday, I'll have a series of stories that take you back to a young life missed.
Her smile was infectious. When she smiled, her whole face lit up.
She was amazing. She loved everyone.
She was daddy's girl, and no way around it. Everywhere daddy went, Haeligh went.
The small town still clinging to hope. You have her name out on your sign.
Yes.
What's the story behind that?
We want to remind the community we've got a missing child. Until she's found, it will not come down.
What happened to Haeligh?
He's heard stories, awful stories. Haeligh died at a drug party. Haeligh was thrown in the river for the gators. Just horrible things that you don't want to hear about your child, you know?
For the first time, we are getting.
Now, this guy right here, this is a retired detective that was on this case. He is now retired and he is speaking on this case. And it's interesting what he says, because he kind of says some of the same things that we kind of ask in the Summer Wells case. And Marlena, great point. Although a lie detector test cannot be used in court, it is a tool that they use, and they were allowed to take multiple lie detectors, which is extremely rare, meaning Don and Candace. If they passed, then, you would think they would be cleared, especially Don.
Getting specific details from investigators who worked the missing persons case from day one.
I sit here today telling you Haeligh was not abducted by a stranger.
Investigators believe someone is not telling the truth.
And that boat was searched after somewhat of a confession. My is having some firsthand knowledge of the disappearance.
They investigated many leads that went nowhere.
But a lot of surveillance on just to maybe hope that he would do something out of the ordinary.
Okay. And the family that awaits answers.
Nobody has any kind of proof whatsoever to show us that she's deceased. Therefore, we're waiting on Haeligh to come home.
The family, some 13, almost 14 years later, or almost 15 years later, still believe Haeligh is alive to this very day, even though it is highly, highly unlikely that she is not. They still have hope. They weren't, the aunts and the grandparents and all of that, they weren't saying we'll see her in the resurrection 3 hours after she went missing. Vampy, thank you so much for gifting one membership. If you was the one that received the gift from Vampy, please give Vampy a big thank you. It really helps our channel, Vampy, and I appreciate it. Thank you for keeping us going here. So it's interesting. Interesting.
Does it look like it gets any easier? No. It doesn't.
Into Thin Air begins Monday morning at 7 on News4Jax. And look for our podcast starting February 11th on your selected podcast platforms. Disappearance. The Putnam County detective in charge of the missing persons case is now retired and talking candidly with News4Jax. This morning, he unravels why he believed the story that they...
Okay, you see this lady in the black and white? This is the 17-year-old that is going to be introduced to you in just a moment.
They were being told just didn't add up. Now, to understand why he says that, you need to listen very closely to what Misty Croslin, the last person who saw Haeligh, told investigators and us about what happened February 10th, 2009, when the little girl vanished into thin air.
Listen carefully.
I got up because I had to use the bathroom, but I didn't make it to the bathroom. I seen the kitchen light on, and I walked in the kitchen, and the back door is wide open. I mean, I didn't notice about Haeligh then until I seen the back door open, and then
So she says the back door is open, propped with a cinder block or a brick. She got up just out of the blue and she noticed the kitchen light is on. Didn't make it to the bathroom. Noticed Haeligh was gone. Now, she's crying there. That's a legit cry. It looks like, at least. But just because someone is crying like that doesn't mean they're crying for Haeligh. Sometimes they're crying for themselves. Sometimes they're crying because of the situation in general. Miss Prissy Paws, 4 months. Justin, God bless you and keep the good. Oh, thank you, my love. Appreciate your support. It was so nice to see PG come live early today. I know she usually doesn't go live on Fridays, but she started before the sunrise, so hopefully she'll. All right, Diana, member for 8 months. Thank you so much for your support, my love. I appreciate it. All right, guys, here we go. Listen very carefully to these words.
And she's gone. And that's all I know.
A tearful Misty Croslin insists that open back door was closed hours earlier when she lay down to sleep next to Haeligh Cummings and the 5-year-old's little brother. The 17-year-old was dating the children's father and was home alone with them while he was at work.
Okay. All right. You said your back door was wide open? Yes, it was brick. Like, the brick on the
Thank you, hindsight.
Was your back door locked, you know? Yes, but that's the only thing locked.
A stranger comes inside the house and picks up the little girl and takes her out and leaves the little boy there? It makes no sense.
That is the detective that just said that. A stranger comes in the house, picks up a little girl and leaves the little boy there. Doesn't make sense, right? And there's no sign of any type of abduction, whatever. This is one of the detectives that was on Haeligh's case day one. Now retired. There's 3 or 4 detectives here in this that we will see. And a lot of it doesn't make sense, just like Don and Candace.
John Merchant was the detective in charge of Haeligh Cummings' missing persons case for the Putnam County Sheriff's Office in 2009.
I would think that to prop a back door open with a concrete block and it was a metal outswing door, as I recall, something had to make some noise.
But no one woke up, not Misty, not Haeligh, not her little brother.
Yeah, someone breaking in your house and you grab a little girl, it's going to make noise. Doors, kids, everything, it's going to make noise, right? Obviously, just like if Summer was abducted out of her room or yard or whatever, and there's adults outside, you're going to hear something. And if the dogs are for sure as well, right? But the dogs were in Bermuda on Ben Hill Road, right? Thank you, Nerdy Girl. 1 month. Beautiful inside out. Thank you for all you do. Oh, thank you, my dear. Appreciate you. Crimes have consequences. Be careful when you're driving, dear. Be careful, my love. All right.
Merchant revealing to us now other inconsistencies in the teenager's account of what happened.
Her story changed about the location.
According to the police report written that night.
All right. So this right here is the actual bedroom of where Haeligh and everyone slept. Haeligh and her brother slept here. And the 17-year-old and Haeligh's father slept here.
Misty said the children were sleeping in her bed, but Merchant says she told them later that Haeligh was in her own bed when she discovered she was gone. This is the layout of that bedroom 10 years ago. You see Haeligh's toddler mattress against one wall. To the right is where her father and Misty slept, where Merchant says the teen initially said all 3 were in bed. And there's something else. Remember this?
I got up because I had to use the bathroom, but I didn't make it to the bathroom.
Except in the police report, Misty told them she woke up to get a drink. There is no mention of the bathroom. Merchant believes Misty was not being truthful about what happened.
that she had it stuck in her mind that she had a story she wanted to tell us.
Yet she was tripping up, clearly.
Often. And that comes with, telling the truth is easy. Telling a lie is not easy at all.
Merchant was never able to prove Misty Croslin was lying about the details of that night.
How many times have Dawn and Candace changed their story? Add more, subtract more, didn't happen, it did happen, over and over, right? It's hard to keep up with the lies. If there's truth, there is only one truth. Like I always say, people who have nothing to hide nothing.
And with no physical evidence or any sign of Haeligh, despite an exhaustive weeks-long search, Misty was never charged for any wrongdoing. In fact, to this day, she insists, as she did when we interviewed her 2 days after the little girl disappeared, that she had nothing to do with it.
I just want everybody to know that I didn't do anything with that little girl. I love her like she's my own, and I'll do anything to get her back.
They got tunnel vision. Once they focused on Misty, they forgot about everything else.
Tomorrow morning at 7, Haleigh's grandmother had her own theory. Was there anyone else that you thought could have possibly had something to do with her disappearance?
Absolutely. There was a man in a trailer that lived in the woods right behind our old house.
These are
Why
three
he was
detectives.
quickly ruled out. And then, tomorrow night, starting at 5, these 3 investigators revealing to the public for the first time what they believe may have happened to Haeligh Cummings. Don't miss our continuing coverage of our special report, Into Thin Air. So many unanswered questions. And I have to tell you, I've been doing this a long time, was a police beat reporter for a long time. Sitting down with those 3 investigators, now that they've retired and they're no longer involved in that case, is just fascinating. All the things that they heard, all of the things they heard, the things that they couldn't prove, the stories that they were told. It's just unbelievable.
Can't imagine their frustrations, but that's a question for another day. Let me go back to the inconsistencies in Misty's stories. What's the family think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting because, obviously Misty was very close with Ronald's side of the family, grandmother, great-grandmother, Haleigh's, relatives. And, I asked them that question when I interviewed them, and they said they never saw anything but love, compassion, kindness between Misty and both of the kids. And they say that Haleighh adored Misty. So honestly, they don't know what to think. They don't know who to believe, which is why her great-grandmother said, they got tunnel vision on Misty, and she feels like they maybe missed something. We'll have more on that story, of course, tomorrow. And Bruce, as we have mentioned, every day.
This is what Haleighh would likely look like or similar today. If anyone has seen Haeligh Cummings, they can call 800-277-8477, 888-277-TIPS, a $15,000 reward. You can remain anonymous.
This week, we do want to remind people that somebody knows something, as we discussed. It's a matter of whether or not that person will pick up the phone and make that call. And you can do that by calling
Someone
the Crime Stoppers
always
tip line
knows
at
something.
888-277-TIPS. There is a $15,000 cash.
This is the father. He had absolutely nothing to do with this.
Reward if you're called a crime stoppers. The 17-year-old was dating the little girl's father, Ronald, and was babysitting Haleighh when she says the kindergartner
Thank you,
vanished from
Kathy.
bed
Yes,
in the
4
middle
months.
of the night on February 10th. Now, Croslin has never been charged with any wrongdoing and insists that she told investigators everything she knows about what happened that night. The little girl's great-grandmother and grandmother think investigators were so focused on her that they missed something.
They got tunnel vision. Once they focused on Misty, they forgot about everything else.
It was Misty. It was just Misty.
Was there anyone else that you thought could have possibly had something to do with her disappearance?
Absolutely. There was a man in a trailer that lived in the woods right behind our old house.
We asked investigators about that. Did their focus on Misty Croslin distract them from other possible suspects?
Yeah, we could have been focused on Misty, but there were so many other people involved, so many parts of the puzzle that were picked up by other agencies, just like the sex offenders checked.
Robert Hardwick was an investigator with the state attorney's office assigned to Haeligh Cummings' case in February 2009. He worked it with his boss, retired Judge Robert Mathis. John Merchant was the lead detective.
Those were the 3 right here. Oops. Those were the 3 detectives that are now retired.
Detective for the Putnam County Sheriff's Office.
Anywhere a lead would take us, we went.
All 3 are confident every tip was investigated. Merchant says anyone who lived near Haeligh was interviewed. The man Haleigh's grandmother suspected had an alibi and was not considered a suspect. Now, they're sharing details about people investigators looked into.
If you look at the map of Putnam County at that time and the number of registered sex offenders within a 1 mile radius, there were a tremendous number of them. And we looked at all of them.
I remember
44 RSOs in the vicinity were all checked out and cleared, just like the card team, TBI, Hawkins County did with the local RSOs in the area with Summer. It's interesting, on Hailey's flyer when she went missing, it said potentially abducted on the very top, potentially abducted, which I thought that was interesting.
remember us tracking down a sex offender to Nebraska. And we went to Nebraska and interviewed him in the middle of the night.
Did that turn into anything?
Nothing.
There were 44 registered sex offenders living near Haeligh Cummings when she disappeared. Investigators say each was accounted for the night she vanished. But soon, someone else was added to the list of people the detectives looked at. Joe Overstreet, Misty Croslin's cousin.
I can tell you he left the state of Florida the same day she went missing.
That seemed very suspicious for a relative of the last person to see Haeligh alive to suddenly decide to leave Putnam County to return home to Tennessee within hours of the little girl's disappearance.
But a lot of surveillance on Joey just to maybe hope that he would do something out of the ordinary.
And did that work?
We had nothing that came of fruition up in Tennessee.
They put surveillance on him in Tennessee, and absolutely nothing. He left the same day Haeligh went missing. Again, there was no sign of an abduction with Haeligh at all. They checked out all the RSOs, neighbors, everything. Here's this detective. He's going to speak.
Tennessee.
Nothing. Their search for answers led them down another dead end. Joe Overstreet denied any involvement in Haleigh's disappearance and was never charged. By now, other information, though, was starting to filter in, circling back to the same person.
I mean, everything pointed at Misty.
Tonight on News for Jack, starting at 5.
She knows where the little girl is. I do believe that.
What did the last person to see 5-year-old Haeligh Cummings reveal to investigators months later? And what did this detective learn that led him to this?
It all kept coming back. Everything kept coming back to the last person who saw Haeligh. The babysitter, the 17-year-old. Everything led back. You can look at other people till the cows come home, but if their stories check out, their stories check out. You know, it's literally less than a 1% chance of any stranger abduction. It's generally someone, the last person to see the people in the home is the last, usually the, number one first suspects. And in Don and Candace's case, in Summer Wells' case, after literally 2.5 years today, they're not cleared. The parents are not cleared in Summer Moon Utah Wells' case. Now, with Haleigh's case, it's been, over a decade and a half almost, and they have finally named suspects.
This conclusion about the kindergartner.
I don't feel that she's alive.
Our special report, Haeligh Cummings into thin air, continues tonight at 5.
And I want to dig a little bit deeper into, the family's concern about this laser focus on Misty Croslin. She, of course, was never charged with anything, as we mentioned. But, when you're a family member and you're kind of just seeing detectives, you don't realize that a lot of them are with different agencies. So in addition, of course, to who you heard from, Robert Hardwick and Robert Mathis, they were with the state attorney's office. You had the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. You had FDLE. You had FBI. So everybody was like pieces to a puzzle. They were grabbing leads and they were spanning out and tracking those down. So there were a lot of people who were working on this. So just because they were maybe one person was asking specifically about one person doesn't mean that others weren't asking questions about other people.
And these are seasoned investigators. They don't miss pieces to a puzzle. How about Hailey's father, Ronald? Was he ever considered a person of interest?
A lot of people on Facebook and online are asking this question. And of course, I asked Detective Merchant, who was the lead investigator with the Putnam County Sheriff's Office, about Ronald. Ronald was at work. There was no question about that. Not considered a person of interest in this case after they did some investigating.
Ronald, the father, was at work, confirmed at work. We know that he was at work. That's something Don says, but I disagree with. I don't believe Don was at work all day on June 15th, 2021, when Summer went missing.
The detective basically described Ronald as a good father who loved his daughter, and he thinks that he probably was not involved in this.
All right. We brought you details about the disappearance 10 years ago of Haeligh Cummings that have never before been heard.
The 5-year-old has not been seen since February 10th, 2009. And this morning, Jennifer Waugh continues her special report Into Thin Air.
We have heard from investigators all week what they think happened to the missing Putnam County kindergartner. We have talked with her family about their heartache these last 10 years. This morning, we are focusing on Hailey, the little girl.
It's Christmas 2008.
You got a backpack full of goodies, didn't you?
Sassy, cute, blonde hair, button nose, big brown eyes, the brightest smile you ever want to see. Lights up a room.
Teresa Neves says just having her granddaughter here was a miracle.
Turner syndrome is a missing chromosome, and they found out at a sonogram.
Doctors had initially thought Hailey's condition would cause her to be so disfigured at birth, she might not even survive.
She would never have breasts, and she would never have children. She would never have anything that girls had without hormone shots. So, and she came, and she hardly had anything that you could notice. We were really, really blessed with her.
She had all her fingers and toes, and she didn't really have any abnormalities that you could see anywhere or anything. So we were just tickled to death.
True joy. That's how her grandmothers describe watching the baby grow into a toddler and then into a little girl.
I remember Hailey would run in my front door. She would just bust in my front door, hollering, screaming, "Nana, Nana!" And she'd run, jump in my arms. The next thing she would ask me is, "Nana, can I listen to my God music?"
And her daddy.
I mean, they were inseparable. Everywhere Ronald went, Hailey went. I mean, she latched on to him, and she was daddy's girl. There's no way around it. This Hailey's scrapbook.
This book holds Hailey's memories.
This is JJ, her cousin JJ, holding her there.
JJ was 8 when she disappeared.
He's so heartbroken.
Couldn't think that getting up, she'd never be here again. I always thought she'd just be here the next day when I woke up. But here it is, 10 years later, she's still not here.
The pain of losing her has never gone away. 47 days after this video was recorded, the 5-year-old vanished from bed while sleeping next to her father's girlfriend and her little brother. Her dad was at work. 17-year-old Misty Croslin told deputies she woke up in the early morning hours of February 10, 2009, and Hailey was gone. The back door to the mobile home propped open with a cinder block, her little blanket on the back porch. No one has been charged in connection with her disappearance. Investigators do not believe Hailey left alone. Her family continues to beg for answers.
If you're watching out there and you know what happened, please bring my cousin home. That's all I want. I'll be 19 in July, and I just want her to be home for my birthday. And that's my only wish.
No tip has led to any arrest, and we hope that will change. Allison Lentz is the executive director of Crime Stoppers of Northeast Florida. Good morning. Thank you for being here. All last week, we gave our viewers the phone number to call for tips. Right. There may be some, as you and I have discussed, though, who are hesitant to do that because they're worried somehow that Crime Stoppers or law enforcement is going to show up knocking on their door and are going to reveal their identity. What does Crime Stoppers do to prevent that from happening, to allow people to stay anonymous?
So Crime Stoppers, the whole hallmark of the Crime Stoppers program is anonymity. That's what makes us different from just calling law enforcement. We guarantee that the entire process remains anonymous from when you make that first phone call until you pick up your cash reward. Our tips are protected from public record in Florida, so we go to great lengths to make sure that our callers remain anonymous.
So that means, for example, if an attorney somehow gets involved that's representing the person who's arrested, that attorney can't somehow subpoena Crime Stoppers and get the tipster's information and identity.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's
We're
say
gonna
I'm a tipster and I
talk
call
about
in.
that
Do I have to
rage.
give my number? Do you have caller ID? Do you record the conversation?
Absolutely not. We never record a conversation. There is no caller ID involved, and the call taker will never ask for any identification or anything. Like sometimes, for example, a caller will call in and say, I think this about my next door neighbor. They'll always leave that part out of the tip because that could identify that person, I guess, technically.
So then the Crime Stoppers then reports that tip, but excludes that information if the tipster somehow included information that could reveal their identity.
Exactly.
So then if that's the case and you don't really know and you don't take the caller's name, then how does the caller end up getting their money?
So when you call Crime Stoppers, or you can also go through our website or our mobile app. So when you first contact us and you give your tip, you're given a code name or a code number. And then you're asked to follow up in about 30 days. And at that point, if your tip resulted in an arrest, then you're given a second identifier, so a second code name or number. So then once our board of directors votes to approve that reward and it's ready for you to pick up, then you're given instructions on where to go to pick up your cash reward. And all you need is that code name and number, no ID, nothing else.
And if for some reason you call back and that tip hasn't led to an arrest, for example, after a month, you just keep calling in as a result.
Exactly.
I wanted to direct our viewers also to the reason that we've invited you on here, and that is Haeligh Cummings. Disappeared 10 years ago yesterday. People know where she is. They can bring her home. Investigators have said that they do not believe that she is alive. But this is not just about if somebody calls with a tip about Haeligh, because it's a missing persons case, this isn't about necessarily an arrest. Would they get money if they can lead investigators to her whereabouts and perhaps to her body?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have a reward of $15,000, and that's for information that could lead to an arrest or the recovery of Haeligh.
And I want to mention very quickly, normally the reward is not that high, but you had an anonymous donor back when this happened that donated $10,000?
Yeah, 10 years ago. At the time, people from all over Putnam County and all over North and Central Florida were sending in money that they wanted to donate towards the case. And a lot of it we've sent back over time, but we had $10,000 sent to us anonymously. They didn't want it back. They just wanted it there. For Haeligh.
So it is there and it is available to anyone with information. Remember, no tip is too small. It is a cold case and they need your help. Allison, thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. And we have given you the phone numbers, the text, the way for you to text. There's also a website as well, northeastflorida.crimes.
That is correct, BB. EquiSearch did search for Haeligh. They absolutely did. We are going to talk about the people in the home. They did hugs, if you know what I mean. And we're going to talk a lot about that shortly. There's a long history.
stoppersweb.com, which will be included in this interview, which we'll post on the morning show page later today. If you missed any of our stories also last week, including our special report about what investigators believe happened to the 5-year-old, you can watch them right now by searching News4Jax/Haeligh. You can also listen to the first
No, Mama B, I've been on Summer's case since day one. I just wasn't a creator then. So, but where were we? Let me see if I can find this. Here is I want to show y'all this. This is
This winter, 5-year-old Haeligh Cummings disappeared from her father's trailer home in Satsuma, Florida, and there has been no sign of her since. 8 months after the disappearance of Haeligh Cummings, her whereabouts remain a mystery.
Somebody has her, they have her hid. I just want my daughter back, that's it.
Haeligh's father, Ronald, was working the overnight shift as a crane operator on the night of February 9th. When he returned home, his daughter was gone.
She wasn't there when I got home.
Attention immediately focused on Ronald's girlfriend, 17-year-old Misty Croslin, who was...
Now, Misty, she is serving a 25-year sentence right now. What was it for? I think it was for hug trafficking, if you will. Rockin' Robin, thank you for coming a member, my dear. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Pearl Strand says Candace can't just say Summer vanished into thin air and expect anyone to believe it except for those special few. Yeah, kids don't just vanish. Kids just don't vanish. Don B discussed the rivers and creeks around Hawkins County today. It was very interesting. Oh, interesting. So there is a boat dock where they believe Haeligh was dumped into. Yes, opiate cells. Yeah. Yeah. Hey Ryan, good to see you. Thank you for joining.
Babysitting Haeligh and her brother Ronald Jr.
About 8 o'clock, and I woke up and she was gone. And the back door was wide open. And the last time I seen her is when I put her in bed.
Misty and Ronald Cummings married a month later, but have recently separated.
All right, move forward.
Police launched an extensive search for Haeligh after her disappearance. Officials say they've received more than 4,000 tips, but appear no closer to knowing what happened to Haeligh than they were that February morning when she disappeared.
Hundreds of people search for Haeligh and still nothing. I do believe Haeligh was put in the water. I don't know if she will ever be found. Yeah, 17 years old. 17 years old.
Haeligh Cummings' 6th birthday was in August. Here with us exclusively this morning is her stepmother, the last person to see her, Misty Cummings. Good morning, Misty.
Good morning.
This week, I know you had a tough setback in your life. Your husband, Ronald, announced publicly that he wants to divorce you. This is Hailey's dad, and he said that there are inconsistencies in your story that bother him. He has supported you from day one. Why do you think he's changing now?
He tells me it's, just too much pressure on us right now. And, I got family problems. My family's trying to start problems. It's just too hard.
So you think he's divorcing you?
So they think Haeligh may have gotten into DRUGS at the home, potentially, but they are still not sure even today.
Because the stress of all this is just too hard.
Yeah.
But what about his claims that you're telling different stories? Do you think he believes you're guilty now of something?
No, I don't think so.
What has he said to you about this?
He hasn't really said much about it. He believes me. He doesn't think I had anything to do with Haeligh gone missing.
For people who don't believe you, including police who say that you're a suspect and have questioned your inconsistencies, what do you say? How do you defend against that?
They just need to move on and look for the right person because they're focusing on me, and I'm not the one that has Haeligh. I don't know where she is, so then you look at the person who does have Haeligh.
You've always...
Who does that sound like? They just need to move on. They just need to move on. Sounds like Don and Candace, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, Rach, I agree. But she's been publicly named as a suspect. That's exactly right. Kids don't just disappear. They don't just disappear out of your house. Other people are in the home. And in Don and Candace's case, in the Summer Wells case, there was people in the home and outside of the home on a mountain, on a dead-end road in the middle of nowhere. So let's think about that for a moment. Yes, still in jail.
Always said that you had nothing to do with this. In fact, you wanted to take a polygraph test, which you took, and failed. Why do you think you failed it?
She did fail the lie detector test. but they only gave her one. Remember, Candace, or one of them, failed, and then they gave it back to them, and then they passed.
I didn't want to take
Allegedly.
the polygraph. I was supposed to do a hypnosis. That's what I was supposed to do. One of the guys said that could be
Excuses.
the reason I'm failing is because I feel like it's my fault because I was the last one seen with her.
It was that night you say you put her to bed around 8 o'clock. At 3 a.m., she was gone and the
Yeah.
door was open.
Yeah.
What do you think happened to her?
Someone come in and got her, obviously. I feel like it's on the other side of the family that has her. But that's just how I feel.
Do you?
She has blamed the other side of other family members, you know, pushed and pointed her fingers at so many different people.
Feel that police have looked at everyone they need to look at?
I don't think they looked at everyone as close as they have me.
You're so young. How old are you?
17.
17, and you used to babysit Haeligh all the time. Then you became her stepmother. Did you feel ready, and were you glad to take on those motherly responsibilities so early on?
Yes. Yeah. I love them kids.
And you still wear the T-shirt and the picture of Haeligh. You've been a suspect. The media spotlight has been on you. What has this been like for you over the last couple of months?
Really hard. Really, really hard. Just want everything to be back normal. Want Haeligh home. Definitely.
Do you think she is still alive?
I feel in my heart that she's still alive, yes.
Do you think that Ronald Cummings will go through with the divorce?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
And you're resigned to go on without him?
That's what happens. It happens, but we're gonna still stay in contact. And if something happens down the road, then we might end up back together. I don't know.
What is your fear for your future when you look ahead?
Just to bring Haeligh home and have a normal life again.
Do you worry that you might be arrested?
I don't.
Well, you should, because you are arrested now.
Told all kinds of different things, so just don't even pay attention to them.
All right, Misty Cummings, thanks for coming in this morning.
You're welcome.
No. Nope, she didn't. She never sold her for PILLS or anything. Never sold her for that at all. Let me pull this up. Kids don't just disappear. Haeligh, let me pop this up. Sorry. Haeligh's case has stuck with me due to one random moment on Nancy Grace. I know I used to watch when I got home from work. Nancy Grace had major problems, but she did a lot of coverage of Haeligh. Anyway, Nancy was interviewing Crystal Sheffield, and asked her what time Haeligh typically gets off of school. Crystal just sat there with a blank stare on her face. Obviously, she had no idea what time her own daughter finished school every day. Nancy said this child never had a chance. It's true. Haeligh never had a chance in this intensely chaotic environment she was born into. Don and Candace didn't know their children's birthday. They knew nothing. What was your favorite thing to do, Dawn? Oh, she liked to twirl. She'd wring my arm off. Very familiar. Chaotic environment. Yes. Big chaotic environment. In February 2009, Haeligh was reported missing by Cummings' then girlfriend, Misty Croslin, who was watching the children while Cummings worked at night, his night job, she and Cummings had been fighting and had thrown her clothes into the yard of one of her friends, but she came back home to babysit. That night, they were fighting previous, but because he had to go to work, she still came and babysat Haeligh. According to Croslin, she put Haeligh in bed at 8:15 p.m. and joined her sometimes after 10 p.m. She told investigators she woke up a little before 3 a.m. to use the bathroom, although she used a guest bathroom and not the one in her room where she was sleeping. So, like we always say, if there is a natural order to how we work as human beings, and if you have a bathroom right off of your bedroom and it's 3 a.m. in the morning, you're going to go to that bathroom that's right off your bedroom. That's what makes sense. You're not going to go out to the kitchen and go to the other bathroom on the other side of the house. And it kind of makes me think of Dawn with the Subaru. Why would Dawn at 7 o'clock in the morning, why would he take his tools out of his perfectly good working truck just to throw them in a brand new car just to put miles on it? That doesn't make sense. Second of all, that takes a lot of effort to throw your tools out of your truck into a car that's brand new. It's not made for, a Subaru. That takes effort. It takes time, and nobody really wants to do that at 7:30 in the morning. That was her choice to be a yeah, she was a pillhead for sure. Um so Crossland, she says she's going to the bathroom across the house. And that's when she noticed the back door opened with what? A brick? So there was no sign of forced entry whatsoever. There was a blanket outside of Hailey's. I believe, in my opinion, that was staged. They were arrested on a drug sting. That is correct, which there is tape out there of that. Crossland told, at 3 a.m. to use the bathroom, although she used a guest bathroom and not the one in the room where she'd been sleeping. Crossland told police she noticed that the door by the washer and dryer propped open with a cinder block and Hailey was gone. Who's going to, hey, Nicolina, who's going to prop open a door when they just stole your kid? Why would someone prop open a door with a cinder block when they just stole your kid before 3 a.m. in the morning? Nobody's going to do that. You asked Don and Candace, oh, well, was the door open or shut? It was open. No, it was shut. Oh, I don't remember. That's going to be the first thing you're going to remember. Especially if you think someone abducted your child. Oh, the door was wide open. Oh, the door was shut. The door was locked. Well, if the door was shut, if the door was locked, I mean, I don't think someone, especially climbing up that mountain on Ben Hill Road, with 2 adults outside, 3 boys upstairs, they're going to, politely shut the door, or they're just not going to do that. Now, Ronald Cummings Sr., 39, is the father of 3 children, 2 with Sheffield and another son with special needs. Haeligh was the oldest. Here he is. Here she is. Cummings had been arrested in 2001 for threatening to unalive someone. In 2002 and 2004 and 5, he was arrested for hug possession. Cummings was mostly raised by his grandparents after coming to live with them when his mother, living in Atlanta at the time, could not secure a decent babysitter. After Cummings was lost in the woods when a babysitter failed to keep an eye on him, his grandmother, Annette Skies, attained parental custody of him. So you can just tell the generational, how he gets lost, right? As a kid, there's drug use as a kid. And these 2 have been arrested on multiple times that hold on, let me find this. Sorry, y'all. There's so much
Well, good evening to you.
similar
I'm
with the Wells.
Jessica Clark. A look from inside a missing child case that gripped the First Coast 10 years ago. 5-year-old Haeligh Cummings just vanished in the night from her home in Putnam County. She has never been found. I tracked down the lead detective in this case to find out why he thinks the case is still a mystery 10 years later. And he says he knows the person who could break the case wide open.
I think about it every day.
John Merchant still thinks about the Haeligh Cummings case from 10 years ago. He was the lead detective with the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. He no longer works there.
Us investigators who worked on the case, we all feel like we know what may have happened, but we can't prove it.
5-year-old Haeligh Cummings was at home in Satsuma one Friday night in 2009 with her little brother and her father's teenage girlfriend, Misty Croslin. When her father came home from work,
Now, 2009 is about when the smartphones started hitting the market, the smartphones, the tablets, and all of that. This was really just the beginning of this, social media and stuff as we know now.
Haeligh was gone.
I want my daughter. That's it. That's all I want. I want my daughter back.
Merchant believes Haeligh's father's alibi of being at work checks out. The next day, search teams scoured the neighborhood and divers and boats were in the nearby St. Johns River because
the bloodhounds led you
Correct.
there.
2 of them.
Misty Croslin, the adult with Haeligh that night, first told police someone came into the house and took the child, but Merchant doubts that.
The child is in the bedroom literally next to her. There's a little boy in the bedroom. She's in the bedroom. You have locked doors. There's no forced entry, and Misty hears nothing.
Very similar to Summer, right? She's allegedly downstairs alone. This abductor from out of nowhere comes climbing up a hill. Nobody sees nothing. Nobody hears nothing. The dogs are magically gone. Tree trimmers don't see anything. Nothing. No force entry. Nothing.
But yet she wants us to believe a stranger came into the house and took this little girl in the middle of the night, and I just don't think that happened.
Merchant said that months later.
I mean, look at these detectives. Look at these detectives right here. They're now retired. They was on this case, though. They was the lead on this case. Look at the retired detectives, police officers on YouTube now. What do they say? What do they say? Look at Jennifer Coffendoffer. I played her the other day. Don and Candace's story doesn't make sense. The inconsistencies.
Later, Misty changed her story and said that she saw her brother and cousin take Haeligh out of the house into the river.
She is in
Merchant
jail now.
says the
That's the
cousin
good
did
thing.
not talk to investigators, and a secondary search of the river turned up nothing. So Merchant took Misty to the river as a news helicopter caught images of them on a dock. And why did he do that?
The hope was to get her to say something, or to try to reach in and find that soft spot in somebody's heart, and we didn't get it. She said nothing.
They took her down there and they tried to soften her up. She wouldn't say nothing. And then when she was facing 25 years in prison for hug trafficking, they thought this is it. This is what's going to break her. She still didn't talk. She kind of talked and then she kind of went back on it. She never came out and said it, but she said a little more. The 25 years still didn't make her talk. Still didn't.
Merchant said Misty Croslin eventually recanted her statement about her brother and cousin taking Haeligh.
There's no indication of any violent struggle or any type of violent crime at the scene. That leads me to believe that, it very well could have been an accidental death. And, somebody in this group has covered up the death.
What is it going to?
There is believed to be more involved than just her in the cover up of this. But who all? Don't know. Hugs is with a D and an R and a U and a G and an S. We say hugs rather than DRUGS.
Take to break this case?
Misty.
Why?
She's the one with the inconsistent statements. If she could give us one truthful statement, I think we would be somewhere.
As for where the child is, Merchant believes she's dead. And without going into detail, says,
I can tell you the river's close. The river's real close to the back of the house.
Although Merchant can't prove it, he believes the river is where the mystery of Haeligh lies. Misty Croslin, who was watching Haeligh that night.
It could have been I could say rugs. Yes, rugs. I like that better probably. Yeah, 2009 to now is an extremely long time. What happened that night? Was it an accident? Did they were fighting? Did she take her anger out on Haeligh? Maybe. Was there I have a pug. Or did she OD? Who knows? Very adorable. Yes, very much so. Very, very much so. But let me see here. Here we go.
We look back at 10 years since 5-year-old Haeligh Cummings was last seen. We are getting unprecedented access to what investigators were hearing back then, what they thought, and who they were closely to what Misty Croslin, the
didn't notice about Haeligh then until I seen the back door open, and then I go in the room and she's gone. And that's all I know.
A tearful Misty Croslin insists that open back door was closed hours earlier when she laid down to sleep next to Haeligh Cummings and the 5-year-old's little brother. The 17-year-old was dating the children's father and was home alone with them while he was at work.
Okay. All right. You said your back door was wide open? Yes, it was split.
Hold on one second. This is the actual 911 call. It's hard to listen to.
When I was asleep, it was not like that. Was your back door locked, do you know? Yes, but that's what always stayed locked.
A stranger comes inside the house and picks up the little girl and takes her out.
The back door always stays locked. Don and Candace says the same thing. The back door always stays locked. Don says he even goes out the front door as well.
Out and leaves a little boy there? It makes no sense.
John Merchant was the detective in charge of Haeligh Cummings' missing persons case for the Putnam County Sheriff's Office in 2009.
I would think that to prop a back door open with a concrete block and it was a metal outswing door, as I recall, something had to make some noise.
But no one woke up, not Misty, not Haeligh, not her little brother. Merchant revealing to us now other inconsistencies in the teenager's account of what happened.
Her story changed about the location.
According to the police report written that night, Misty said the children were sleeping in her bed. But Merchant says she told them later that Haeligh was in her own bed when she discovered she was gone. This is the layout of that bedroom 10 years ago. You see Haeligh's toddler mattress against one wall. To the right is where her father.
How far is that apart? 6 feet? 5, 6 feet apart? You're not going to hear anybody? Doors are a big deal in Tennessee.
And Misty slept, where Merchant says the teen initially said all three were in bed. And there's something else. Remember this?
I got up because I had to use the bathroom, but I didn't make it to the bathroom.
Except in the police report, Misty told them she woke up to get a drink. There is no mention of the bathroom. Merchant.
Get a drink, go to the bathroom, again, Dawn and Candace, she gives us, she's in an interview and, I know somebody didn't come up here or I know somebody came up here and took her out of this yard by her swing, and she points with her head. Clean house, but dirty doings. Yeah. There is a lot. The high-pitched voice is always a red flag. Yeah.
Merchant believes Misty was not being truthful about what happened.
that she had it stuck in her mind that she had a story she wanted to tell us.
Yet she was tripping up, clearly.
Often. And that comes with, telling the truth is easy. Telling a lie is not easy at all.
Merchant was never able to prove Misty Croslin was lying about the details of that night, and with no physical evidence or any sign of Haeligh, despite an exhaustive weeks-long search, Misty was never charged for any wrongdoing. In fact, to this day, she insists, as she did when we interviewed her 2 days after the little girl disappeared, that she had nothing to do with it.
I just want everybody to know that I didn't do anything with that little girl.
She shows more emotion. Hey, cotton candy, boobs. She shows more emotion than Candace. But I think a lot of times she is, they're crying more for themselves rather than sorry, I'm trying to find something here. They're crying more for themselves. Why is that doing that? 1 second. But what was, when did Haeligh actually go missing? When did Summer actually go missing? I think Summer went missing somewhere between 3:30 and 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock. Whoops. Somewhere between there. YouTuber that told what happened gets charged laptop. And even if they're in another country. What's that, Stephanie? And they got married a week or two after she went missing. Yeah, he quickly divorced her because he said, she was giving some inconsistencies. I can't remember how old he was then. He looks a lot different now. Like he's really filled out the father. Candace is hardened to the core. She is. They have never found Haeligh, but the babysitter, she is in jail for 25 years. Just like JSB and Monster. We'll go over that if you want to. Between, your phone doesn't automatically. I mean, with Dawn and Candace, there's even more to, more complicated layers. 2009, there wasn't. I mean, there was cell phone service, but it wasn't like it is today, right? Dawn and Candace, 3 phones. Grandis in her camper, Candace, around the house there, and Dawn in Jonesboro, and all 3 of them went blank after 3:30. Dawn has even stated that his the 911 calls were deleted. This is by LTL.
And so anyway, when she pulls up, she's on.
This was
the phone with Donnie.
I was muted. I'm sorry.
Donnie's on the phone with her, and I didn't even.
I was saying this was Jody Sue's first interview on the YouTube streets She was on Facebook then, but now she's on YouTube. So this is probably the best account we have of Jody Sue being honest about that day, in my opinion, because it's her first. Now, she's said everything and then some since, but she looked better then. She really did.
All the time, it just didn't hit me. But the first thing I said to Candace is I heard her scream, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I didn't know.
She hears the sound is a little low here, so you might have to turn up your volume on this one. She says she hears Candace scream, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't know. If that is true, then that, and if you if you believe her, that is a sound in my opinion of an accident, maybe, or yeah, probably an accident. Could you have, could there been a, backed over, something like that, potentially, maybe.
And then I realized Donnie's on the phone. And Donnie says something like, so you're telling me somebody's taking my baby girl or something? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I didn't put it together, enough time, like, right?
Yeah, and you
Now, hey, Brandy B, thank you for becoming a member, my love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Mary Jane, thank you so much. I missed your super chat earlier. Thank you so much, my love. I appreciate you. And Brandy B, welcome to the family. Thank you so much for your support, y'all. I do appreciate it tremendously. She does. She definitely does. Uh, yeah, she definitely does. I don't. I know when Dawn and Candace, and when she used to take up for Dawn and Candace when Summer first went missing. Hey, Liplock, good to see you. But I don't know if she was taking up for him at this point or not.
and you said that she seemed did not even.
No, I mean just like when he come at night within 3 hours of her missing and stuff. Only thing he even mentioned about her was at least he'll get to see her during the resurrection. It's the only thing he said.
He says that to me all the time.
Like she's already deceased and everything at that time.
Like, you had to know something. If you're saying I'll see her in the resurrection and it's been 3 hours, you haven't even waited the first 48, Dawn. To me, that screams like you know something. Absolutely.
I mean, like he,
And you know. Huh? Like you don't know.
And no remorse, no nothing. I mean, no signs. If it'd been my kid, I'd been.
Right? And
They'd had me locked up somewhere already.
Wow.
As we've stated before, the circumstances surrounding Summer's disappearance remain unclear. So if we do develop information that she was taken and we develop a suspect and a vehicle description, of course, we will share that with the public immediately. At this time, that's just not the case. So we'll take a couple of questions.
They never developed a suspect, a stranger, ever, because The FBI card team says no sign of abduction. Day 4, June 18th, 2021.
I saw where Friday night after sundown they
This is Don talking to I forget his name with the Rogersville Review. I wish he has.
they called everybody back. Yeah, there was some sort of tip or something. And we seen, blue lights up and down Beach Creek, and the helicopter flew till like 4 in the morning, looking around, so we was up till 4 in the morning being hopeful that they, find something, but there's nothing. My personal opinion is maybe some human trafficking ring seen her on Facebook and tracked her down, like some kind of, somebody is taken out of the area, and I don't know whether a human trafficking ring or what or who, but I mean, I knew from the first day she wasn't in the area, right? Do you have hope for Summer being found? Well, I have hope, but statistically speaking, looking at it,
Day 4, statistically speaking, Haeligh has been missing nearly 15 years, and the family's like, we still believe she's out there. Dawn, 3 hours later, I'll see her in the resurrection. Day 4, statistically speaking.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A tough thing to think about. Well, yeah, of course. I'd feel for anybody in that position. I'm sure you would too. Any kid that's being tortured or hurt in any way.
Any kid that is being tortured or hurt in any way.
And missing their parents and their good friends in church and stuff like that. Just unimaginable what she's going through. Yeah.
Same day, day 4.
Summer be okay. And please come home. It's been rough, but we know, we believe in the resurrection.
Wells also spoke about his gut feeling about Summer's whereabouts.
Some bad person grabbed her, but we have no idea.
A week later.
Summer is still missing, and we are more concerned than ever and desperate to find her. TBI agents continue to work with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI in an effort to determine what happened to Summer. We are utilizing all available resources to include the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team. We want to reiterate that the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear, which is why we've been exploring all possibilities. Agents and detectives have followed up on a number of leads, to include residential surveillance video and photos from around the area of Summer's home. Drivers seen in the area at the time of her disappearance have been identified and interviewed. While we've not ruled out an...
That's something that gets missed over a lot. Drivers and people in the area have been identified. Oh. Let's hear that again.
all available resources, to include the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team. We want to reiterate that the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear, which is why we've been exploring all possibilities. Agents and detectives have followed up on a number of leads, to include residential surveillance video and photos from around the area of Summer's home. Drivers seen in the area at the time of her disappearance have been identified and interviewed. While we've not ruled out an abduction, we simply do not have any evidence at this point to confirm that's what occurred.
Residential surveillance. Drivers in the area have been identified. Don Grandma 3, 7 months. Thank you. Hi, Justin Love. Love you. Keep up the great work. Oh, thank you, my dear. Every word is chosen carefully. Yes. The only one is the red truck. The alleged red truck. That may be on the 14th or the 15th.
For that reason, the ground search for Summer continues. Circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear, which is why we've been exploring all possibilities. Agents and detectives have followed up on a number of leads, to include residential surveillance video and photos from around the area of Summer's home. Drivers seen in the area at the time of her disappearance have been identified and interviewed. While we've not ruled out an abduction, we simply do not have any evidence at this point to confirm that's what occurred.
No evidence. They've identified people in the area. There's no evidence of an abduction, but it has not, nothing has been ruled out.
For that reason, the ground search for Summer continues.
So they still kept looking. Still kept looking. September. I just can't imagine what TBI is doing at this point. Me too. Day 15. Here's our first interview, y'all.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel
By her swing, which is allegedly where the boys said they actually, that we are aware of, allegedly, I'll just say, that she was by her swing.
feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here. Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound.
Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. You know, I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess.
Do they look real emotional there? Lured her. There was no time to lure anybody. 2 to 5 minutes? How do you can't lure someone that's in a house, right? I mean, in 2 to 5 minutes? There's no time to lure. Can put your bra on.
If there's any way you can find it in your heart to please release her somehow. I don't know how you might do that. I mean, 'cause you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything.
Yeah, most parents, whatever you do, right? Summer, if you hear this, mommy and daddy love you. Please, we're going to get you. The person that has you, please, bring her home. Drop her off anywhere. Just make sure she doesn't get hurt. Not, oh, you know, you're probably scared of going to jail the rest of your life. I don't know how you might, drop her off. You're scared of going to prison for the rest of your life. It just seems kind of elusive. Oh my God. It sounds like you're talking for yourself, Don, in my
Else, I'm
opinion.
sure. But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we
can get her back, and just please have mercy on her, and you know, and us, and her brothers. And she's such a loving, good spirit. Please, please don't hurt her. Please let her come home. She's my.
Look at that side eye. Watch that side eye. She's wondering what he's going to say next. Watch that side eye. Watch it.
Please don't.
There we go. See it? See old can side eye.
Don't hurt her. Please let her come home.
Now she's nodding off. There you go. Go ahead, can. She's gonna give him a real look in a minute.
She's my biggest fear is, you know, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her. Unfortunately, her downfall.
How is a child? How is a child being outside their downfall? Was there an accident outside, Don? Candace?
A lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? You know, go get Summer now." You know, and that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. She loved to be outside.
She didn't want to be in that dungeon.
I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's such a loving heart and everything, and I'm afraid that she won't be able to, locked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything. Love nature, and that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly,
Exactly, Jesse. Exactly. It's not the boy's responsibility to get Summer. It's called the parents. So Summer was outside alone? That's what it sounds like right there, doesn't it? But she was supposedly downstairs in her room. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds so sweet and caring, doesn't he? This is the man that literally sits outside of women's houses, looks in their window to make sure they're sleeping so he can break in and steal their underwear. It's like, what the hell, man? Oh, it's always Mike. Always. Always somewhere. Always somewhere.
I think she's dead, but it's a possibility.
Watch this, y'all. Oh, watch Candace. This is the most important part of the interview, in my opinion. And then Candace interrupts.
I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive, because possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity.
And Don, you know, you know how, like, someone says something and you look at them, but you know, and you're like, you're like, what the fuck are you saying that? You know what I'm talking about? Like, why the hell are you saying that? But the other person doesn't look at you because they don't want to make it seem like, or they know. So Dawn's like, Candace is like, and find her daughter. And then Dawn's like, I'm just going to sit here and look at the camera and act like I don't know shit. That's what it feels like to me.
Focus on the positive.
What?
Because
Dawn's not going to do anything there. Day 19, July 3rd, 2021.
and half the country's, police force and all these other outfits here, they can't find her. And they're powerless to find her. But God knows where she's at. And I have to put my full faith in Him.
So what you meant by that was just you're putting your faith in God and that she's going to be okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that she's going to be okay, because she could be anywhere. It's hard. We don't know. Nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, she's a normal person, so she's like, you're putting your full faith in God and, expecting she's going to be okay. Don's like, well, she could be anywhere. I don't know if she's going to be okay. The chiropractor head snap, yeah.
I'd say a parent's faith and what they do might impact God's judgment in the end, no matter what one of your children, because she could be anywhere. It's hard. We don't know. Nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to put my full faith. They're powerless to find her, but God knows where she's at. And I have to put my full faith in Him.
So what you meant by that was just you're putting your faith in God and that she's going to be okay.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that she's going to be okay, because she could be anywhere. It's hard. We don't know. Nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say a parent's faith and what they do might impact God's judgment in the end, no matter what one of your children go through.
No matter what one of your children go through, God's judgment in the end. I think Dawn is asking for forgiveness, in my opinion.
Say for instance,
one of your kids overdose on drugs or something. Okay.
Kids overdoses on drugs or something, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation.
Absolutely.
But I think God will consider, hopefully, what their parents do and what, stuff like that, hopefully.
Wow. Wow.
Because what if she is forced to do drugs and grows up in this negative way or this negative country or who knows what, and and she gets killed or whatever, and she's not in the church. I wasn't able to bring her up to church like I wanted to.
This is a therapy session for Dawn. It really is. It's really a therapy session for Dawn.
So it's killed me since she's been gone. It's just at first it was just so horrific knowing that someone abducted her and the cops are looking all around her house, knowing that she's not there. It's like you just talking to yourself. This ain't doing no good. But I wish the police would have had they would have blocked off both ends of Beach Creek and everything else
They did. They absolutely did, Don.
and kept it contained in our area because
They
I'm
did.
sure she's hundreds of miles away. You know, I can't blame them or whatever, but I'm upset. I'm really upset, you know. But it's too little, too late now. I mean, maybe my kids are looking.
Too little, too late now. Too little, too late now. After 3 hours, see her in the resurrection. You seem so sure of this, Don.
And I like, well, maybe God will bring her back, or I don't know. But statistically speaking, I mean, there's a good chance she's already dead if you look at it statistically.
How does a father say this? How does a father say this about his daughter? Look at little Summer. How do you say that about Summer, Don?
And I hate to think that I love her with all my heart.
Do you believe that she's still alive? Do you have any intuition that she might still be out there somewhere?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
All I know is, you know, I believe in God. I don't believe in any psychic stuff.
Oh man, that stuff's horrible that they've had on. I've seen it on YouTube.
Tell me about that. Well, when I come back from Utah, I was trying to move my family to Utah. I've always knew that something was going to happen to Summer. Something in my gut has always told me.
Why did something in your gut always tell you something was going to happen to Summer? Hey, Izzy, good to see you, love. Why? Always something in his gut. And he wanted to move to Utah because he was running from CPS. Allegedly.
And I've always told Candace, watch her closely. That's my baby. Do not let nothing happen to her. I told her that all the time. What brought you to that thought? I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't know what it was, or I just always had this feeling that something's gonna happen to her. I didn't know if she was just gonna get accidentally run over. I didn't know what it was. Did you think she would be kidnapped? Never, not like that. Okay. No.
Okay, so if you always thought something was going to happen to her, what did you think was going to happen to her then, Don? Did you think there was going to be an accident? God forbid, an illness? Like, what did you think? You always said, watch her, which an illness that would be scratched out because, you know, you don't, I mean, you watch for illnesses, but you don't it's not like a physical, it's, you know what I mean? But watch her. That to me makes it feel like an accident. Watch her. I didn't think he says, I don't think she was going to be abducted. He admits it.
I just knew it was something. I just had this intense love for her, and I think she knew something too. I think something was. I don't know if you believe in guardian angels or what. But
5-year-olds do not think, they don't have that awareness of something is going to happen to them. They don't have that, Dawn. And you're saying, and you think she thought something like that too. What the hell's wrong with you?
there's something. So, you know, time is of the essence. Time is of the essence. Could she still be alive in your heart? You know, I pray for that, and I hope. On a scale of 1 to 10. To me, it's one or the other because of the four dreams. To me, it's either someone that's got money has her somewhere and seen her on Facebook and felt sorry for her, whatever the reasoning is, or her to get rid of evidence.
All right, I'm going to read this to you. To me, it's one or the other because of the four dreams. Okay. To me, it's either someone that's got money, has her somewhere, and seen her on Facebook and felt sorry for her. I can see anyone feeling sorry for her. And remember, Don has also said taken her out of a bad situation. He's also said that, taken her out of a bad situation. It was a bad situation for sure. Whatever reasoning is, or she's gone, and then it's got XXX, someone got her and got rid of her to get rid of evidence. Think about that for a minute. What did Dr. Gary say on the interview room? Why would someone most likely want to get rid, so hard to say that, get rid of Summer? Because they may know something, or they may need to be hiding something. Now, if CPS, if they needed to get rid of her, exactly, hey Jude, because of something related to CPS, that would be getting rid of her because of evidence. And them were her last thoughts. His words.
And then were her last thoughts.
So do you think they would have hurt her or they would have sold her?
I think they probably would. I don't know. I wouldn't. Who in the world? I wish I knew who would buy a kid. I wish I knew that. I really do.
Oh, well, you've told us, Don. You've absolutely told us the things that was happening in California to those kids in a hotel. The 12 or 13-year-old that you had with you alone, and you took her back to a woman that you said had her probably on Coca-Cola and was most likely trafficking her. That is your word, sir. So, in my opinion, you absolutely know people that does that kind of stuff. You saw it with your own eyes. How does one see that with their own eyes without being one? It takes one to know one, right?
Me too.
Because I would surely go after her.
I have a note here. When I talked to him on July 28th, I'm reading out of my notebook. Immediately, he said, I believe she's been killed and buried somewhere after being abducted. Now, then when I first heard that on July 28th of 2021, which is less than 4 weeks away from when she was went missing, my experience kicked in and said, he knows. He knows something. Now, what we've all been grappling with for the last year is what that something is. But what I have been dealing with is, and like you, on this channel anyway, is the facts in relationship to how they were presented.
Day 57, August 10th.
So I knew they were searching around the top of the house. So I drove immediately down to the bottom of the property, figuring that they probably hadn't looked down there yet. That's the first place I went, down all the way down to the creek. And
Of course they've looked down there. The boys were down there. Jody Sue was down there. That's the first place Candace sent them. Granda sent them. You allegedly talked to Candace 30 minutes home. She's around there supposedly driving while you're speaking to her. You know that she's looked down there. Why did you go down there, Don? Why? Why did you go to that building? That's right, I see you. Justin, if you could break that down, it would be great. My above message. Another call with Don. Phone calls where Don talks about being in places selling kids. Very telling when asked him several questions. Yes. Very priceless. We can do that.
when I seen my boys down by the creek, all three of them together, and I seen my neighbor coming around the other side of our hill to my left, I knew at that point that Summer had been abducted, or Summer was not around, because she would never leave from around the house.
You don't know that.
So I turned the car around and drove. I don't know if I looked in the shed at that time or not, that little shed there at the bottom. I can't remember. I've been going around talking to, all our neighbors and getting to know people in the evening time. And, a lot of people have told me that if I don't know, but if somebody in this area took her, that's pretty much signing your own death warrant and being in this area. They would come after you. I don't know, but all we know is somebody definitely took her, and I'm starting to wonder if, because my wife doesn't know, about TikTok and Facebook and stuff, and I didn't either. I was really naive to any of this stuff, and I still don't know anything about TikTok. But she put her pictures out there and was proud of Summer, and I'm starting to think personally that somebody seen her on Facebook or TikTok and decided that they wanted her for herself, or
For their self.
or it's the sex trade thing, or I don't know. We don't know, but
See, he goes for themselves, and then he automatically talks about sex. Telling you, something's not
that's
right.
what I'm starting to lean towards personally. And it's like the more I get to know people around this area and talk to them, and I'm going to continue to do that every evening as much as I can. Just in case you never know what you might find or hear or whatever.
even think that she's in Tennessee anymore at this point?
I don't know. I don't know where she's at. My daughter's already suffering wherever she is. I hope not. I hope some rich person has her that's taking really good care of her. But it's unlikely, though. I don't know who's got her. I wish for God we knew. I don't know what to say anymore.
Well, I think it's good for people. I think it's good for people to hear you mad and upset at whoever did this, because usually like last night when you came on my panel, you were like, when I asked you, what do you think should happen to whoever did this, you were kind of lenient. You know what I mean?
He's always been lenient to the person who, did this to Summer. Why? What parent, hey Diane, what parent's going to be lenient to the person that most likely, stole your daughter and most likely took her life?
Someone takes your kid and abuses them. You tell me, Ziggy, what do you do with them?
Yeah, well.
No way. I don't understand why it's so difficult for people to comprehend that some sorry, sleazy son of a bitch come up here and stole our fucking daughter. Why is that so hard to comprehend? What the fuck is wrong with you fucking people?
I think it's because
really?
I think people believe that
y'all are fucking nuts. Y'all are fucking crazy, man.
Okay, well,
how the fuck? I don't get it.
How did they know to come up there though at the perfect timing and everything? Do you think it was somebody?
Because they're fucking criminals.
You're a criminal. Big one.
Well, yeah,
you can't teach other people because nobody wants anybody talking to their kids about
Summer. Then let's talk about Summer. Where is she? She's probably being traded off for drugs and money, everything else.
Not yet.
Yeah, I hope not either. But let's talk
There's
about
nothing you could have ever done or said or anything to prepare her for that.
Why would my daughter for no other fucking reason?
Then what?
There's no other reason that someone.
That's so sad.
Take my daughter.
Donnie, we don't know. You don't know. There's lots of different reasons, and I know.
I didn't recognize it at the time. I was too young and stupid to understand. But looking back, I get it. California. No, a lot of shit in my time. You guys
I'm wondering about if Allie is in.
Hold up. You guys gonna start this?
No, I just think that Allie is probably involved with some things like.
I'm gonna break out before it's all over with. Nobody's gonna know who the fuck it was. You guys will. Care about the fuck.
Donnie, if you do something stupid, you're gonna be the number one suspect.
Oh, I won't be.
I reckon you'll be. As a father, they're gonna automatically think it was you.
I lived in Stockton, California. I've lived in fucking San Diego. I've lived in fucking all over the fucking place. I've lived in fucking Florida. I've seen this shit with my own eyes, but didn't recognize it at the time. But
He's seen this stuff with his own eyes, didn't recognize it at the time.
now looking back, I understand what was happening. I tried to save some of these young girls. I get it. I understand. You guys don't know what I've seen, and you guys try to shut me the fuck up.
No. I tried to on it because you've been drinking, and I don't want to talk.
Yeah, but that's why I'm being truthful with you all.
Well, we
Well, I mean, it's just, it's a little off the, no, I get why you're angry. Like, I totally get it. And I would be messed up every night until all day long.
Remember what he says in this interview. Not the one he's talking about with the picture. She said, what did you have anything to do with your daughter? He talks and talks and talks for like 2 minutes straight. Never answers the question. And still.
My daughter's probably on the fucking streets right now somewhere. Nobody's listening to me.
Donnie, we can't do anything.
I know where she's at. She's in a fucking motel room somewhere with some fucking weirdo fucking motherfucker trying to sell her for a little bit of crack cocaine. I know how it works.
He knows how it works. She's in a hotel room right now selling her for a little bit of crack.
Somewhere pulled up in a fucking motel room.
Donnie, stop letting your fucking mind go there, okay?
I've already been there. I've seen it.
Stop it. You can't do this. Unhealthy. Drinking is unhealthy. It makes you angry. It makes you go there.
I'm just telling you what I'm telling you what I've seen with my own eyes.
I believe that you have seen this.
I didn't understand it when I was younger.
I get that.
I took this one girl off the street once. I'm like, what are you doing out here in the fucking crack town? She's like, and she was like, I took her to her fucking house. It was some old black woman. She had a bunch of kids in their runaway. Okay?
That happens all over the fucking place, Donnie.
I know, but I didn't understand it when I was there. But
I'm sure you didn't. Now you're a father and you have a little girl. And I'm feeling you.
Fuck out of me because I understand it now that I'm looking back after I run it through my brain a fucking couple thousand times. Now I understand it now. I didn't understand it when I was right there.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the same thing you are.
These are Don's words.
Abducted, HT ring, lured away, tortured or hurt, locked away, can't play outside, in a dungeon. See her in the resurrection. Say one of your kids overdose. What if she's forced to do DRUGS or is unalived? I'm sure she's hundreds of miles away. Disgusting. Don. Disgusting. Ooh, disgusting, Don. Shame on you. All right, y'all. That's all for me this evening. I appreciate you so much. I've been on here 2 hours and 14 minutes. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Thank you, Don Grandma 3, Brandy B, Mary Jane, The Real Rockin' Robin, Kathy S, Nerdy Girl, SL, Hindsight, Diana, Miss Prissy Paws, Vampy, Nada, Sky Maiden, September Virgo, Vampy again, Susan, and September Virgo again. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all. He took a bunch of runaways to his house. He certainly did. That's how he met Candace. Go figure. Good night to each and every one of you. Appreciate you all. I may be live later on my second channel, Clutch Them Pearls. If you aren't busy later, come and see me over there. Hold on. Mike has news. We have a segment with Mike has news. Did you email Mike? He's on this Robin tangent. This is Mike's segment. What's wrong with you, woman? I'm not sure. Please tell me, Robin Lane says. Oops. Mike has news. I'm going to make him the little bit. What's wrong with you, woman? Robin Lane replies, I'm not sure. ... Please tell me. Yeah, he stays. Someone please tell her. I don't know. Don't know. I don't think anything's wrong with Robin. I just think she's just extremely religious. I don't think she's done anything or anything like that. And I think she loves Summer a lot personally. I just think she's so religious. She's got that religious tone. There's different, especially with the, some American Christians and stuff like that are really, really hyper religious. They have this tone, like the Southern Baptist is like, well, and the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply, tear down and build greater. Are you with me, brothers and sisters, today? And then, like, there's the Robins, like the Duggar clan. Yes, the Duggar clan, And God said, baby Jesus, let's make a baby king, you know? So God blessed us with, 19 children. I was so grateful for that. What about Pentecostal? You got to speak in tongues for Pentecostal. Dante, she is. She is. Oh, no, she's not dumb. No, she's definitely not dumb. It's definitely a cultish. I just hope she never caught anything from that house. Bugs and Robin might be the epitome of WWJD, but it is hard with people like the Wells. I couldn't ignore it even. Yeah. Yeah. Love you too, Grace. It's cultish. She's sweet. Yes. Timmy's like, he's got the faith. What is it? Promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. So, bless his heart. Bless. She's bittersweet. Yeah. Yeah. But I think we all are a little bittersweet by someone. That is true. She should know neglected teeth. That is for certain. I love that song too. I like Oceans better though. That's just me. Love you all. God bless each and every single one of you. Thank you for being here for the last 2 hours and 20 minutes and 50 seconds. You could have chosen to be anywhere, but you chose to be right here, and I appreciate it. Good night. God bless. I'll see you over on Clutch in a little bit, maybe. Bye bye.